looms this time around in Labour Party.
It's not looming. It has arrived.
In Labour Party.
Absolutely. Like I've always said, anarchy is the absence of authority or non-recognition of authority. Now, in Labour Party, there is no authority that is governing the Labour Party.
What do you mean? There is Mr. Abure, which the court has said is the authentic national chairman of the Labour Party.
I don't think I have read any court decision that said Abure is the authentic national chairman. What happened is that all the court they went to, because they knew that there was no convention, so they always avoid the issue of convention. They will come to court and say, court, we need to have our agents in Ondo. You have to give us power. INEC is precluding us from fielding our agents. If we don't have the agents, we are doomed. There is only one leadership. Give us order to field our agents under the leadership of Abure. That is the trickish and cunning way they have been going about the issue of leadership of Labour Party. The issue of leadership, simplicity, has not really come under the scrutiny of the court. Because the courts will tell you we don't have jurisdiction to even determine who will be the leader of a political party, that it is the internal affair of a political party. Okay, let's put it this way. When I came into Labour Party, a lot of forces wanted to hijack Labour Party from Abure. I stood against it. You were aware, the Arabambi group, the Apampa group, they all came. I said, no. If you want to emerge as the leader of Labour Party, don't come through the window. Come through the door. I said, and I remember I told Arabambi this personally. I said, I have no personal interest in Abure, because he showed me the criminal things that Abure did. He showed it to me personally. I said, look, if you want to punish Abure, if you're a lawyer, you will know that you will go through the criminal procedure, not the civil procedure. That if
Hello. So this is more like, for me, I term this as a breaking news, because I think we are at that point where in Nigeria, we have to take everything as breaking and urgent. And urgent because, like I've been emphasizing, 2027 seems to be far away. But in the political calendar of any political system around the world, it isn't. And success of our political system is not determined in a short period of time. You plan ahead and then you work towards that plan. You have an agenda. I'm just reacting to an extract. I had to take some time to get extract of this interview conducted by Sheon Akimbaloye of Channels TV. I think it was Politics Today, and I find it fascinating. I'm taking a little bit of this of the tape, and then reacting to this tape. So credit to Channels TV, just to mention them here. I'm responding to the comments that and most of the statements that Kenneth Okonkwo made about Labour Party and the need for the change that we want, considering the fact that the flag bearer of the Labour Party during the 2023 election, Peter Obi, came from Labour Party. And at the moment, it is consumed and assumed and believed. Again, I said consumed because we were being fed that from the legacy media, and presumed that he is at the moment the opposition that APC has, considering the internal crisis beholding the PDP at the moment. And you can see the cross-carpeting happening from PDP lawmakers or politicians to the APC. The last time it was Ned Nwoko, and I think some other people have actually said they were the camping too. Some of them from Delta State. One lawmaker is recently from the North. I can't really remember his name. So it is largely assumed that Peter Obi is the biggest threat to APC at the moment. So it's just one man. And of course, they assume that Omoyele Sowore does not have any. He has the grassroots where he can campaign, but he doesn't have the political power. You know, if you look at 2023 election, how many people voted for him? So I think that's the calculation the APC is making and saying, all right, Sowore can make all the noise on TV, on ground, but he's never going to do anything. So the biggest threat we have during the 2023 election is Peter Obi, considering the fact that, hey, largely it is assumed and allegedly believed that the election was stolen by INEC, stolen by APC, and obviously that made Tinubu the president of the nation. And we can see where we are at the moment. But the point I'm trying to make basically is the comments that Kenneth Okonkwo is making or made during this interview. But before I move on, if you're meeting this content for the first time, this podcast for the first time, please watch till the end. I encourage you to watch till the end, and also go and see our previous podcasts and content we've created, analyzing the state of the Nigerian politics at the moment and the Nigerian state at the moment. The Americans call it the State of the Union. So we're looking at the State of the Union, and then we're looking at how we can make and get a better dividend of our democracy come 2027. So the key word here is dividend of democracy come 2027. So how do we get the best dividend of democracy? Number one is getting the right leaders. And Peter Obi is assumed to be a good leader, accountable, forthright. So Nigerians went for him en masse. And I know a lot of people don't assume Omoyele Sowore will do much. And this is coming from the data. If you look at the data from previous administration and people like Sowore that has fought for the rights of the people, like Gani Fayemi, people like that always find themselves in political fields, but then end up not doing well because the people don't see them that way. They've been taken as rights fighters, not leaders. As such, most people don't really tend to vote for them, so they tend to vote for seasoned politicians or people they assume to be politicians that can meander the torrid waterways of politics. But my reacting to this content today, or this video from Sheon, is that I think if Peter Obi is serious, it is high time Peter Obi either move to a different political party or create one. But better still, form a new political party and leave Labour Party alone. Labour Party is mired in a lot of mess. Labour Party is deep inside a lot of mess. We saw that during the 2023 election. We saw that during the election tribunal. And we've seen that post-election tribunal, post-election tribunal, and still ongoing. It is foolish for us to, and for Peter Obi as well, to assume that it will try to steady the ship of Labour Party. And it would be foolish for him to assume that Nigerians should follow him through that point of steadying the ship of Labour Party. Labour Party, like many other smaller parties, were designed to, help skew down the votes of the two major political parties, depending on who is in power. That's why when you go for election tribunal, you see them, withdrawing their petition later in the tribunal because they've been paid or they've been promised a thing or two, and after a while, you see that. I mean, you see that in their election tribunal ongoing at the moment. You can see the Labour Party trying to. I think they've withdrawn their election petition. So many of these parties, like the Labour Party, were always inconsequential parties. They were just there to take a little bit of whatever the election call will be financially or gains, and then they move on to wait for the next election. That's how they've actually carried on for so many years. And little wonder when Peter Obi came in with some sense of order and stability, they kicked against it. The likes of the Arabambis and the Lamidia Papas. This was their gameplay. The gameplay. So for me, when I listen to what Kenneth Okonkwo said, I sort of agree. You understand? Labour Party is not fit for purpose that we need to achieve, for what we need to achieve in 2027 for the betterment of Nigeria. So if Peter Obi is still considering himself as a viable candidate, which Nigerians feel he is a viable candidate, I want to suggest here today that, and as most people have said before, he has to be serious. There has to be correct and consequential moves that is making that we can all see. You cannot stay in the Labour Party because Labour Party is infiltrated by the by the APC, and maybe even PDP. You cannot form an alliance with PDP because Nigerians see PDP as a corrupt party. Nigerians see PDP and APC as a party that is the same. They only just cross carpet from one to another, depending on who is in authority at that particular point in time. So if Peter Obi is serious, and not to give credence to what Omoyele Sowore said about Peter Obi, where he said that Peter Obi is the same as those in PDP and APC. It's just a better packager. Let me say that again. Sowore said that Peter Obi is the same politician as the APC and the PDP. Is just a better packager. That's what he said. Now, if you as Peter Obi then goes back and say you want to form an alliance with PDP, knowing that they want to give you that mandate because Nigerians are backing you, bear in mind that the PDP is already infiltrated by the APC. Bear in mind that part of the reason why there were issues during the election petition that even made APC win that petition, even though we know the court system was already rigged, is because we knew that they were already sending people to foment trouble for the Labour Party and Peter Obi to make it their petition catastrophic. So you cannot sit back as Peter Obi and say Nigerians should come with you to Labour Party anymore. Nigerians cannot go with you to Labour Party anymore. It's not fit for purpose. Labour Party is not fit for purpose. I'll play this again. I want you to watch again.
If you go through the civil procedure, you just want to use Abure's alleged criminality to hijack Labour Party. That I am defending the institution of Labour Party, not the person of Abure. That if you go through the criminal procedure, I have no business with that. Now, I was believing that Abure, with all this baggage, that when it comes to the convention time, he will respectfully step down on his own and then cede that national chairman to the North.
Do you think Abure is a problem of Labour Party?
He is.
And until he leaves, the party cannot be
He's
healed.
gone.
But the court system, he exists.
That is why the party is going. Because
and that's where the Labour Party is gone already. The Labour Party prior to 2023 was in oblivion. Nobody cared about Labour Party. No one even recognized the Labour Party at all until Peter Obi came into and then moved from PDP to APC, to the Labour Party. And then they got that momentum and, Nigerians followed after Peter Obi because they believe Peter Obi was the best of all the candidates that contested during the 2023 election. I still think I'm sure I'm not a supporter of either of them. I just want a good Nigerian. I want a better working Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. But when I look at the candidates in the playing field right now, the two that we have is Omoyele Sowore and Peter Obi. And I have been saying this for a while now. In as much as Omoyele Sowore thinks he cannot work with Peter Obi, as he thinks Peter Obi is part of the problem or was part of the problem in Nigeria, having worked with a PDP or been in that same party before, I think it is detrimental to Nigerians not for Sowore to take that as assumption. I think if Sowore works with Peter Obi, whether Peter Obi is forming a new party and they're banding together, they're coming together, forming a force, I think we'll have better impact. And this would then shake the PDP and the APCs. So just to emphasize what I said earlier, taking Kenneth's answer to Sheun's question when he said, do you think Abure is the problem? And he said he is. If the leadership of a political party is the problem, where there's belief that another party has infiltrated the political party and then they've taken a hold of the leaders of that party and they've compromised the leader of that party, you have no business being there anymore. There have been several allegations about Abure. There have been several allegations about Arabambi and Lamidi Apapa. And if these ones are the people at the forefront of the leadership of the Labour Party, it tells you Labour Party is compromised. And I don't see any reason why Peter Obi is still there. If you remember the last time, even Aisha Yusufu mentioned some of the allegations they were trying to raise about what she did during the election period or the funds that she managed or whatnot. You can see how she pushed back, and she even mentioned how she mentioned things about Abure that if you sit back and think of a political party that will bring change into Nigeria, you would think that the Labour Party should not be one of those anymore. Forget the word we call internal crisis. What is right now happening with the Labour Party is corruption exposed, personal gratification exposed, and again, if Peter Obi is serious, Peter Obi needs to leave ASAP. We're talking about right now. So if you come in contact with this content and you have an idea of who Peter Obi is, or you have somebody who's close to him, share that with them. This is the thought of so many Nigerians around the world right now, and those in Nigeria. People in Nigeria, we're all saying to him right now, Mr. Peter Obi, you need to move away from this party, set up a new party, and then form a new party, because there's need for that right now. So you can start setting up offices around the nation. You start to build that structure. That's the structure Nigerians have been, the other parties have been talking about, apart from the structure of rigging. So you can start to have presence around the nation. Pick Lagos for a start. Pick Abuja for a start. Build your offices around there, and then spread out. We have 12 months in 2026. We have 10 months left in 2025 and 25. Is 22 months. And then we have about 3 months. So you've got about 25 months to do all this work. You cannot sit back and think that you're working with a system that is bad, and you think you're going to get results that is good.
The party has no power to dictate any leadership to any people.
Now that you are jumping ship, Mr. Okonkwo, so you are giving up on the Labour Party.
First of all, I am not jumping any ship. I am simply escaping from a sinking ship.
Yeah, you have jumped out of the ship anyway.
No.
That's a matter of jumping.
I am saved.
Either you are jumping out or jumping.
That is sinking. That's a different thing. So
if the ship was sinking, you are jumping out of it.
That's what I'm saying. You're jumping into safety. Let's put it this way. I came into politics for good governance. I didn't come into politics aspiring for any position. You know what Jesus Christ would say? He said, the kings of the Gentiles lord over people, but he that should be the greatest among you shall be your servant. I came to politics to serve, because my faith made it upon me, put it upon me, that wherever I am, I should look for the interest of the people, being their servant. Now, when I came into Labour Party, I saw people who have not even tested any fortune in their lives, who is using Labour Party as a tool to enrich themselves.
Remember that word. Remember that word, that statement that Rotimi Amici made when he said that poverty led him into politics. That's what Kenneth Okonkwo was talking about being in Labour Party, what he meant when he joined the Labour Party. At the top of the show, I said that Labour Party was just a tool to skewer down votes from the major political parties so that they can enrich themselves. That's how they've been staying in play for so long. It wasn't because of the people they were there. They were there to obviously get money from the other political party and stay afloat, and then enrich themselves and be relevant in the Nigerian political sphere, and that's what Kenneth Okonkwo is saying. These guys don't go into politics, and the people, you can see that because of the infighting, it is okay for you now it is now fair enough for you to infer that the likes of the Abayomi Arabambi, the Lamidi Papas, Abures right now, they were always there for their selfish interests. They said it themselves anyway. We didn't say that. Apapa said all the corrupt things that Abure did. Abure has talked about how they were trying to hijack the party from him. Aramba Beans talked about how Abure hijacked the party. Someone has already elected Abure forged a signature. You can see the back and forth. So just like Kenneth Okonkwo was saying, and Seun said that he is jumping ship, it is about time to jump this ship, create your own, and get people on board. But you have to create one where you don't have to now start bringing those people with the baggage, because APC will send their people to come in to infiltrate. APC will send people who will come and leak the new party or whatever alliance that Obi wants to form. And I pray it doesn't form that like an alliance with PDP. Nigerians don't consider PDP a political party. They consider PDP and APC to be the same, and they are both vote rigging political parties that have destroyed Nigeria. So if Peter Obi is serious, I think Amoyele Sowore, Peter Obi is a force to reckon with. Obviously, you have to get the northern input as well. So you get Obi Babadati Hamed together with them. And then you start to build from there. It's enough time to start building right now and get as many offices as possible around the entire country. And you can even use zonal offices that will go and you put people to on ground. So if you cannot afford to do all of that, and if you ask for donation from Nigerians, trust me, having Peter Obi, having Amoyele Sowore together, working together, that will bring some sense of serenity and calm for Nigerians. And Nigeria will have a force to work with. So if they're raising funds to build offices, Nigerians will contribute because they will see the change coming.
If a man is serious, so Abure is not looking for any Labour Party person to be president. He's looking for his pocket. Because according to, realities, they are men of their pocket. They are men of, not men of the people.
You can see that. So if Kenneth Okonkwo, who's been in the Labour Party, is now saying this, there's no need for us to be on Peter Obi. You have to sit back and say, no, this is now obvious. To the blind, this is obvious. To the deaf, they can hear it very, very loud. You don't need a soothsayer. A political neophyte can listen to and look at the things that happened during the election, after the election, during the tribunal, post-tribunal, and tell you that Labour Party was compromised. We had Arabambi and Apapa coming out from cars. We know that they couldn't afford during the election tribunal. But yet, we saw them coming out from cars that they couldn't. Nigerians is deducted that they couldn't afford it. Who was sponsoring them then? Who was sponsoring them? So you cannot tell me, as Peter Obi, to say that, oh, you're trying to stabilize the Labour Party. You need to be quick with that arrangement. And it has to be done now. So we're in February, January is already gone. Stop wasting time trying to fix Labour Party. It doesn't take Peter Obi a lot to register a new political party and get all the officers together. And then after a while, get Alex Oti to be part of it. He's the best performing governor at the moment anyway, so you get him to be part of it. So that during the 2027 election, Nigerians can move from Labour Party in Abia State to the new party you're forming that band together with Amoyele Sowore. But you have to have a sit down with them. But in the first instance, you have to move away from Labour Party, create the new party, and then start to have this dialogue with Sowore in the background. Because there's a lot of work to be done. So that's why I keep saying that what Sowore said. But you have to see it beyond Sowore. You have to see that's for Nigeria.
The reason why you are against Mr. Abure is not only because you think that there are allegations of criminal nature against him. You are also saying that there might be some external influences and forces using Mr. Abure to destroy the Labour Party. Those are some of the things that you are describing. Is that really so?
Now, let's look at it this way. There was an Arabambi who said at all costs, Abure must be removed and Abure must go to jail. This was Arabambi's stand. I took him on that. The same Arabambi is telling you that Abure is the best thing that can happen to the Labour Party. The same set of people who are saying the ticket is no longer reserved for anybody are saying the ticket is reserved for Peter Obi. Are they talking as people who are not being manipulated from outside? You can see it yourself.
So there are external forces who are manipulating the Labour Party.
There has to be external forces in any association that you belong to. You must anticipate it as given, because there must be spies from other parties in your own affair.
So Labour Party is infiltrated?
Like every other party. It is normal and natural. But it's unfortunate that it is the leadership that are the collaborators. If you, without reason, begin to accept the people who you were sending me to go and confront, Abure was sending me to confront the Arabambis. And then, without reason, you're telling me you accepted them. What reason is that? The reason is because Arab and them wanted to hijack the Labour Party from the back door. Now it is Abure that is trying to hijack the Labour Party from the back door. So they now have a common front because they might now have a common principle. Abure them were telling us that the ruling party was sponsoring the Arab people. They were saying it then openly. So now that Arab is with him, I have the reason to say he has joined the people that the ruling party is sponsoring. But why did I leave APC in the first place? They were a party that was moving Nigeria in the wrong direction, security-wise, economy-wise.
So you can see what Okonkwo was saying here. If Abure says that they were hijacking the party, we were trying to hijack the party from him, Arabambi and Lamidi Apapa said the same thing of Abure, that Abure obviously hijacked the party from them. What that leaves us now to infer is this: that they were always it was always about their political, in their own selfish interest. Secondly, just as Kenneth Okonkwo mentioned, this was about external factors who, as Kenneth Okonkwo believed, infiltrated the Labour Party. And these these people here, these men here, played a key role being accomplices in it. That's what he's just inferred to right now. That's what Kenneth Okonkwo was trying to say. So I'm saying to all of you, and I'm saying to Peter Obi, please, I think we all have to put our voices together and say, Peter Obi, tell us where you stand. Are you with Labour Party or not? So if you're still with Labour Party, let's know that you're not serious. Let Nigerians fix their focus on see what we can do and accomplish together with Showore. So I think it's about time that Peter Obi comes up from the fence of being calm. The urgency that is needed right now is not about Peter Obi's calmness. It's about his that feisty nature that he has inside of him that's quiet. That quiet, lion-type feisty nature that come out. Because you have people behind you. Nigerians are behind you during the election period. We knew that you won the election. We knew that INEC stole the election. So what are we doing? What are you doing, Peter Obi? You don't need a soothsayer. I've said it before, and I'm saying it again. I think Peter Obi and Showore, I think they're forced to be reckoned with. I think having Peter Obi and Showore together is a force to be reckoned with. Correct me if I'm wrong, but having Peter Obi and Omoyele Showore together, working together now, because they're both from the South, that will be a big problem. Because obviously, Showore wants to be president, Peter Obi wants to be president, but something has to give for the betterment of Nigeria. These are the kind of sacrifices leadership makes. So the question is, who pulls in the most votes? Will it be Peter Obi or will it be Showore? The second part is, who do you get from the North that will bring the votes from the North as well? That will be as powerful, because we know how bad our politicians can be, for them not to touch that person. Who brings that in? And then let Nigerians then go and face INEC. Let's face our court system, because for so long, our court have been the one deciding who becomes Nigeria's president. And guess what? All the people that INEC and Nigerian judicial system has given to Nigerians, not the one Nigerians voted for, have all ruined our nation. You remember I said in my previous content, I said, citizen participation is needed right now. And as a matter of urgency, your participation, my participation is needed. We have a very urgent need for every one of us to be part of it. But I want to ask you this. Have you ever imagined a Nigeria where things work? Have you ever imagined a Nigeria where your roads work? Have you ever imagined a Nigeria where your schools work? Where your children will go to school and not sit on the floor to learn? Have you ever imagined a Nigeria where our teachers are well paid? Because teachers are important. And we have to give credit to all of our teachers. But have you ever imagined a Nigeria where our schools are functional? Our curriculums are up to date for today's need, for today and tomorrow's future needs. Have you ever imagined a Nigeria where your hospitals work, where we have good healthcare system, where our doctors are not running out of Nigeria en masse in their droves? Have you ever imagined that? Have you ever imagined where a governor steals from the state and is arrested, where a governor is not protected by immunity until he leaves office and he would have stolen a whole lot from you? Have you ever imagined that? Have you ever imagined that you have good railway system working across the entire 36 states of Nigeria? Have you imagined that? Have you imagined that when you fly from one state to another, you don't have to pay from over the top for it? Where our airlines work, we have good aerospace system. Have you imagined that? Have you imagined a nation like our country where you can travel from one state to another like you used to have it before and you're safe? I want you to ask you that. Have you imagined that now? Imagine what is possible if we all come together and work together to build that sort of nation where peace is our watchword. Have you ever imagined where your children can travel from one state to another? You don't have to worry about being kidnapped because of insecurity. Don't take these things for granted. We did that for too long and see where that landed us. It's about time where we have to now start becoming very, very active, where we will call our politicians to order, and they don't, we vote them out to come the next cycle of election. But have you ever imagined in a system where you ask your House of Rep member, your senator from your own constituency, come every couple of months to give you account of what they've been doing? Have you imagined that? Do you think that is ever possible? I think it's possible if we stand up together and fight for the Nigeria that we want. That's why I do this content. That's why I'm trying to paint in your head the picture of what is possible. But you know what I don't need to paint in your head? What you having to see right now in Nigeria as a reality of insecurity. What I do not need to paint in your head, because you're living that experience, whether you're in the diaspora or you're in Nigeria. Because if you're in the diaspora, your family members are living that experience. So I don't need to paint the experience of insecurity for you. I don't need to paint the experience of high food prices for you. I don't need to paint the experience in your head of how things are, how expensive things are, the poverty in the land, the bad administration, the bad governance, the illegality of the police, the criminality of the police. I don't need to paint that in your head because you are living that life every day. That's your everyday lived experience. You don't need to paint how bad our roads are. I don't need to paint in your head how bad our hospitals are, how bad our schools are, how bad our public infrastructures are, because the politicians stole the money that was meant to be used to fix those roads and hospitals and schools. I don't need to paint that in your head. I don't need to paint in your head the allegations that politicians are asking for 480 million from universities that don't have money to pay teachers just so they can patch their budget. It's your everyday lived reality. It's our everyday lived reality as Nigerians. So if I need to paint a picture for you, I want to paint a picture of what is possible if we all come together and work together to elect the right people. I don't want to paint the picture of corruption, because you know that. I don't want to paint the picture of insecurity, because you know that. I don't want to paint the picture of bad roads, because you know that. I don't want to paint the picture of kidnappings, because you know that. I don't want to paint the picture of poverty, because you know that. Poverty is everywhere in Nigeria. Corruption is everywhere in Nigeria. Corruption with the judges, corruption with the police, corruption in the government houses, from the federal to the state and to the local government, corruption all the way. I can't paint the picture of rigging because you know that already. That's why I'm actually trying to paint to you the picture of what is possible. So if you take that possibility and run with it and not be quiet and not give up and not give in, we are possibly going to get that in 2027 if we all come together. That's why I said our pursuit for 2027 is bigger than Showore alone or Peter Obi alone. It is a band of Nigerians coming together, all Nigerians forming a force to fight out corruption. Until we do that, we'll stay in the mess that we've been in for so many years. So again, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, comment. Tell us your experience, what you think, and what you think is possible. So we can all work together to make that work and be possible. Let's have a dialogue in the comment section. Let's have a dialogue in the comment section. Tell us how would you think we can do this thing together. And when I take your input, I will make a content out of it. And then you can go back and share that with other people as well. Nigeria is possible. It is possible to fight corruption, but we have to get the right people at all levels into power to make that possible, including our judicial system, because that's quite important. So please, again, like, share, comment. But above all, I want you to subscribe so that you get new update every time I release a new content, and as I try to do that every single day. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye for now.